Hi there. Before you jump into this episode, we want to make sure our listeners know about the How Do You Drew Patreon page, where we release exclusive content for our members.
We've shared unedited video versions of podcast episodes, rare Drew Barrymore photos from our digital archives, movie commentaries, and so much more.
We're currently working through a deep dive of each chapter of Little Girl Lost, which, if you don't know, is Drew's out-of-print autobiography released when she was only a teenager. And it's been really good stuff, you guys.
There's already plenty of content to dig into and lots more to come. So join now for as little as $1 a month and support us at How Do You Drew.
Yeah, go to patreon.com/howdoyoudrew to join today. Thank you.
Enjoy the episode.
Hello, and welcome to How Do You Drew?
This is a Drew Barrymore podcast brought to you by thedrewseum.com.
And sponsored by our friends at Positive Medium.
I'm Anne.
And I'm Ashley. I was like, oh, can I come up with like some sort of baseball thing to say at the top? No. Do I know myself? No.
I'm like, sure, now like all-star Ashley and Anne. I don't know.
We're going to have a home run with this episode.
Guys, if you clicked on this and you're so excited to hear about a baseball movie right now, we are just like so freshly baseball fans. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah, I mean, should we just talk about that now? We can just start there.
Yeah, so we'll be talking about the movie Fever Pitch today if you didn't see the title. So we'll get into this movie. But yeah, I guess we can get into this a little bit. So both of our partners are big fans of the Los Angeles Dodgers and like have been their whole lives.
Yeah.
And I never really cared about baseball that much. I had been to a Dodger game before I started dating my partner.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and it was fun, but I never really got into like the game until I started watching games with Jared every once in a while. So I have watched a lot of baseball in the last like 2 years.
Yeah, it's so funny because also I think we're both just kind of like meh about sports in general. Mm-hmm. And baseball is kind of a little more boring than some of the others. I'll take baseball any day over football. Football, I'm still just like, don't get it, don't like it, I'll never understand. But yeah, I think dating and then marrying someone who was into the Dodgers, but like he's very reasonable with the amount of consumption he'll have with sports. Like it's usually highlights. And then if it's like, you know, in the finals or that's probably not the right name, but
the World Series.
Yeah. Well, yeah, especially the World Series, but
or like before that.
Yeah, all that kind of build up stuff. Then that's when he'll watch it live. But yeah, I've been there twice now when the Dodgers have won the World Series, and it's been really exciting and fun. And I also like, for me, recognizing the players helps a lot with my enjoyment because I like will make up nicknames, and it's just like it's not just like this anonymous people in uniforms. It's like, oh, there's that guy, oh, he's funny, oh, I like him, or whatever. So
well, yeah, like Jared keeps talking about how like Mookie Betts was not feeling well for like several days.
He's the best.
But he kept telling me about it, and I was like, oh, Mookie, come back.
Totally.
I'm like, I care about this suddenly. So anyway, we care about the players of the Los Angeles Dodgers. Probably don't know many players outside of that.
And it is interesting, like, to have watched this movie now with that. I'm like, oh, I understand Lindsay, like, kind of like getting into it as time goes on and she's going to the games. Like, it's relatable. I get it.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, fun. Okay. So yes, we are talking about Fever Pitch from 2005. And in a really fun coincidence, I mean, sort of planned, but not planned way out in advance.
Yeah.
This episode is going to be released on the exact 20-year anniversary of the movie's release. So love that.
It's so cool. Okay, so April 8th of 2005. So that's wild, 20 years. What the hell?
I don't know. It's like such a recent Drew movie in my mind.
Well, I guess there were like so many years she didn't do some, but we always talk about like anything after 2000 somehow still feels recent. Guys, if you're like born after 2000, don't mention it.
We don't want to hear about it.
All right. So this movie was directed by the Farrelly brothers, as they're known, Peter and Bobby Farrelly. On the commentary, they talked about that they were like one of the last people to be brought in on the film. Like a lot of the casting had already been done and all this stuff before they brought in the Farrellys. So
That's pretty cool.
kind of interesting. And it was written by Lowell Gans and Babalu Mandel,
Babaloo.
based on a book by Nick Hornby and 1997 movie, which was set in the UK and focused on soccer rather than baseball. So I'm curious to watch like the other. So there were other versions of Fever Pitch out there. This was just totally like Americanized in like
Very much.
every way. You also pulled the IMDb summary for this movie, which is very short, single line.
No, I love it. Okay. This one it's all right. Lindsay is stuck in the middle of her relationship with Ben and his passion for the Boston Red Sox. Stuck in the middle is a little weird. I don't know.
They're having a love triangle.
Well, I think Jimmy Fallon and Drew could summarize this movie even better. So we're going to play this clip of them on the Drew Barrymore show from just last year.
He produced this movie with you, they did Fever Pitch, and it's about like a person who loves their team, but then meets someone that they actually fall in love with. And what do you choose, your team or the person you fall in love with?
It's also a theme about when you enter a duo with someone and they've got an obsession. How do you live with that? And then also, what if that obsession constantly lets you down? Like the Red Sox were always letting Ben's character down.
In our movie, by the way, they weren't supposed to win the World Series.
No, it was about a losing team.
Yes.
They lay it out beautifully in their own little way.
Yeah.
All right, so should we get into the making of the film?
Okay, so this is a Flower Films production. We love that.
Woo-hoo.
Both Nancy Javonen and Drew are credited as producers. And then Gwen Stroman, who worked with Flower Films for a really long time, she gets a co-producer credit, whatever that means.
Yeah.
I did notice Chris Miller nowhere in the credits. Is this like in one of those times where he was like
elsewhere
off doing something else? I don't know. I was surprised though. You know what though? I feel like the Flower Films Christmas card that they did the Fever Pitch theme on.
Oh, you're wondering if it has Chris in it?
I feel like it doesn't.
Oh.
Yeah, he's not.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Yeah, I think it's the 2004 card, and all of the Flower Film staffers are done up to look like little Red Sox bobbleheads. So if memory serves, I think he was like off doing something else for a little while. And then, of course, he's back in before long.
Yeah, but that is interesting not to see his name in credits because it was
totally
like he would show up, what is her assistant forever, and then
yeah.
All right, so now let's get into the notable cast and crew. There are a lot of people in this film, but we'll talk about a few. Drew plays a character named Lindsay Meeks. And Drew said about her character that she's the kind of girl I admire, that I want to be like, who's independent and easygoing and not nagging or jealous or possessive or high maintenance.
And I immediately was like, isn't that exactly what she says about Julia in The Wedding Singer? Like, I aspire to be like this girl. She's so
like
easy.
Yep. And she, of course, I mean, this makes sense. She related to Lindsay's workaholic kind of personality and trying to balance career with life. And that totally makes sense.
Yeah, I was thinking about that a lot during the movie. Like when she's in work mode, I'm like,
yeah,
we know this Drew has that side of her.
Yeah. You can tell it's like, of course, elevated. Like she's
Right.
like, being a little shorter with people than Drew would be, that
Of
kind of
course.
thing. Yeah.
Peter Farrelly, one of the directors, said, "This isn't a girl she's playing. It's a full-fledged woman you're seeing on screen. And I think it will be a turning point in Drew's career." And I could see that. Like, she is kind of the most mature character that I bet Drew had ever played up until this point.
Yeah, we'd have to like go through every character, but they say the same thing in the commentary. So they clearly were feeling this, like it was a different Drew Barrymore.
Yeah. Grown up.
Like what came only a few years before this is like our fandom in 1998. It was like all like, young women, like
Yeah.
ladies, girls for most
But this
of her
is
life.
career woman.
Yes. Bobby Fairley also said that they'd always wanted to work with Drew, which that's really cool.
Of course.
Drew, about the Fairley brothers, she said, Kingpin, Dumb and Dumber, and There's Something About Mary are some of my favorite movies ever. But the reason that I was really excited is that they're the guys from Boston. They get that mentality and they've lived that life.
Yeah.
Cool.
From my understanding, like they are like hardcore Red Sox fans. So it was like just a no-brainer.
Yeah.
And Drew was asked once about her personal obsession, like, what's her version of the
equivalent?
Red Sox? Yeah. And she said, quote, Flower Films is my Red Sox for sure. Flower is my Fenway. That's where I go every day. That's where all my highs and lows are. I should put a hot dog vendor in there. That was so cute.
That's really cute. And I love the Flower is my Fenway just because of the alliteration. But
yeah, it's
that's
like a
really
great little quote there. Good job, Drew.
So Jimmy Fallon is Ben Reitman in the movie. I like your little wink here, like the right man. Get it?
I know it feels a little on the nose, but okay.
Of course, on this film is where Jimmy met Nancy Javonen, and when they fell for each other. You noted that they'd met at Saturday Night Live when Drew had been on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, they mentioned that, but also when Tom Green hosted SNL in 2000 and they did that pretend we're going to get married thing, Jimmy and Nancy are both on the stage, which is like kind of neat. I like the last time I watched it, I was like, oh, you guys are going to get married to each other.
So this is kind of where they started to like flirt and crush on each other, was during the filming of Fever Pitch. They officially got together while promoting the movie in the UK. Drew said at the premiere in London that Nan like disappeared suddenly early with Jimmy. Like
so cute.
It is really cute.
Drew had this to say about Jimmy. She said, quote, Jimmy is so good in the movie. I mean, we always get to see him being so funny on Saturday Night Live, but here you see him explore love. And I agree with that. And then another quote she gave was, he isn't only funny all the time, he's nice all the time. It's weird. At 6 a.m. when everyone is showing up on the set exhausted, he's like a Christmas tree. But then this is so cute. In a totally different article, Jimmy basically like gives it right back to her, because he says when she answers the makeup trailer in the mornings, quote, it's almost like your cup of coffee. She gets you psyched for the day. So like, yeah, they both just have that like enthusiasm, positivity, bubbly energy. Like I can see it being a lot of fun to be on this set with them.
Totally. Like those two are, they're little hams.
Oh yeah. And so, okay. So that's a perfect segue to what I was going to say. I love him in this movie. I think he is not only really, really funny, like Drew said, but like very heartstring pulling. Like his performance is great to me. He's a very divisive person in pop culture these days. Like people hate him.
People I feel like they've kind of always been that way.
I guess I wasn't aware of it until the last like 10 years.
I mean, but there's also been like always hated that he broke on SNL. Like he would start laughing.
You're right. Yeah. But I love that.
I've always thought he was so adorable.
Me too.
And I mean, is this just is it mostly guys that you find hate him?
No, it seems like a lot of females. Like, I think people think he's really phony because he's like always laughing and like always kind of ass kissing with his guests. Honestly, I don't know. I told you in the last, during the Olympics, when he was doing stuff, I kept noticing he would say, that's how you do it, over and over and over again. And I was like, okay, maybe I could see that grating on people. But at least in this movie, he is physically cute too. He is really cute in this. He's a great romantic lead.
He is very cute. And I think I'll just say one more thing about Jimmy Fallon is I think that his excitement, like Drew's, is very genuine.
Genuine. Me too.
So I think he's is genuinely excited about all kinds of stuff, all kinds of people. But anyway, I like Jimmy Fallon. I liked him before this, like you did. So we were already on board with Drew and Jimmy working together. And then they would work together again, but 4 years later in Whip It, in Drew's directorial debut.
And in that movie, it's rumored that he replaced Justin Long, that Justin was supposed to play that part. Do you remember?
Yeah.
But Drew and Justin broke up and maybe he dropped out. But Jimmy's great in that part too, in a totally different way.
Oh, he's like the announcer.
Yeah. And he's like
Yeah.
kind of sleazy, but pretty funny. He's always like
Yeah.
hungover.
That's right.
Lindsay's friends are played by Ione Skye, Marissa Jarrett Winokur, and Katie Strickland. And the fun thing is that Ione and Marissa had both already previously played Drew's friends, Ione in Gun Crazy, and Marissa in Never Been Kissed, in these like flashback scenes where she's the one that runs in and tells her Billy Prince is going to ask her to the prom.
Yep. So cool to have.
I know.
That it be like a friend again too. Like,
yeah, it's almost kind of like, did they want somebody in that third role who had, like, I was going through in my mind, I'm like, Sarah Gilbert couldn't have played that part. But then I was like, Christine Taylor could have played that. She plays bitchy really well.
But the actress who did it, so that is Katie Strickland.
Yeah.
So she's great.
Yeah. I have a note about this later. I'll just say it here. It does kind of bum me out that the female friendships are very like catty. They're not like very supportive. Yeah. They're like infighting all the time. So I don't really love that. And I feel like that's surprising that Drew did that, because that's not her style either. I don't know. It's interesting.
It's cool that they're representing a female friendship.
Yes.
I think it's more competitive between some of them than others, but
True.
Still. But there is a lot of just like trash talking between them.
Yeah. Yeah. It's weird.
Andrew Wilson is in this film as Patrick, which is a client of Drew's in the film. He has been called Flower Films' Lucky Charm. This is one of 5 movies that they did with him. So including Never Been Kissed, Charlie's Angels, Full Throttle, and Whip It. Cool.
Of course. Yeah. Whip It is his main one. And he's very chameleon-esque. Like, you don't always know it's him. In fact, I'll say it now. I definitely didn't know it was him the first time I saw this movie, which is so weird and embarrassing.
I don't remember whether I knew it at the time, but I feel like when I like watched it again, I was like, oh yeah. Like I didn't remember that. Yeah. So it didn't somehow make an impression. He is weirdly chameleon-like. That's cool.
And then this is kind of fun. I never made this connection before either. So Lindsay's mom in the movie is played by Jo Beth Williams, and she is the mom from Poltergeist. So
I did not know that.
In an alternate universe, she could have played Drew's mom as a child as well, because Drew, of course, was up for the role of Carol Ann in Poltergeist.
Mm-hmm. That's wild.
Isn't that fun?
Yeah. Okay. The casting in this film was done by Justine Baddeley and Kim Davis Wagner, who are old friends of Drew's and casted, I think, all of their films, I'm sure.
Most of them for sure, yeah. So Drew's makeup is done by Robin Fredericks and her hair was done by Lana Vega. They're kind of a package deal. They seem to do a lot together.
Mm-hmm.
They're both very good friends of Drew's still to this day. But back here, this is like early days. So they worked with Cameron Diaz a lot, and they did Cameron's hair and makeup on Full Throttle. And then they started working with Drew on 51st Dates. So pretty much right before this. They also did Lucky You right after this. And then they've just done like events and photo shoots throughout the years with her as well. But yeah, very, very good friends.
That's cool to kind of see like, oh, this is like the beginning.
Yeah, the origins.
They're like her like actual friends.
Yeah, it's kind of neat.
Yeah. The costumer on the film was Michael A. Russell. Sorry, Drew's costumer specifically. I didn't recognize the name.
Me neither.
But apparently he had done Duplex, Charlie's Angels, Full Throttle, and 51st Dates as well. So cool.
Crazy.
Once again, like another repeat.
Uh-huh.
And then Drew's assistant on this was Miri Yoon. And was she with Flower Films for a while?
I think a few years, but the main reason she stands out to me is don't know why, when we like announced the Drewseum, like to Flower Films, somehow she was involved with that. I don't remember the story, but I just know like maybe we sent her an email. I'm not sure.
Wow, I have like no recollection.
Yeah, it's a very, very faded memory.
But I feel like I know what she looks like. Like,
yeah, I know she for sure worked on The Best Place to Start, and maybe in a big capacity. So yeah, she was very in the mix back at this time.
Cool.
So the movie filmed from September to November 2004. And as you noted, that's a really fast turnaround time for it to be released. It's kind of wild. I wonder if they were like playing off the momentum of everything that happened.
Maybe it was the original plan. Like maybe they were like, we're going to get it out in spring.
Yeah. Oh, true. Spring. That makes sense. That's a baseball thing, right?
Yeah, it is. Opening day was just recently, like last week.
Yeah, we're timing this really well.
Yes,
I think
we
you're
are.
right. It probably was intentional. The movie filmed mostly in Boston, where it takes place. They also did some filming in Ontario, Canada. And of course, this is like the craziest thing about this movie is that the Red Sox actually won the World Series during filming for the first time since 1918. So the film's whole ending had to be rewritten around this. And we'll get into that more when we get into the movie. But yeah, it's definitely like a wild thing that happened. Really once in a lifetime crazy.
Absolutely. And there's lots of stuff in behind the scenes things about like them, the logistics of filming at actual games and like them flying around to try to get to these like where they're actually winning. Like, holy crap. Anyway, wild. And one really like somber note is Drew's father passed away in November while they were filming this. We have kind of some idea of like what was being filmed at the time when it happened. Fabrizio Moretti, her boyfriend at the time, flew up to Toronto to be with her kind of when that happened. So that's really sweet.
It's interesting to know that like that was going on behind the scenes because you don't see it in her performance at all. It's like she's an actress or something.
In the commentary, they were saying like she was really like, let's get back to work.
Oh, of course. Just like Lindsay.
But they like kind of said like it delayed things a little bit, like
yeah.
But that she was like a trooper. They say something like that. Like I'm like, of course she was. Like she doesn't see herself as able to not be at work when she's supposed to be at work.
Truth.
Hey, Droobies! We are here to tell you about our website hosts, Positive Medium, and they sponsor the podcast. We've been clients of theirs for over 10 years, and we use them for all our website needs on thedrusium.com.
Their services include customized web design, professional coding, search engine optimization and marketing, plus hosting, which has been huge for us for many years.
Plus, their incredible customer service has been one of our favorite features. They've literally saved our site quite a few times, and they always help with minor troubleshooting in a matter of minutes. So whether that's coding issues or back-end questions, etc., we reach out, we get help immediately, which is just invaluable.
Lucky you. To our listeners, Positive Medium is offering 25% off any managed WordPress hosting plan using our promo code DREW. That's DREW. Visit our friends over at positivemedium.com.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're ready to jump into our kind of weird synopsis of the film.
Yeah, we like kind of going beat by beat of the things that stood out to us as we were watching. We make notes on the things we want to chat about. So we're just going to go from start to end on the movie. The whole beginning part is like Ben's origin story. He's this like sad child whose parents got divorced. He like moves to Boston and his uncle takes him to a Red Sox game and he's like absolutely in love right from the start. So like it's got like deep sentimental meaning to him, this team.
Absolutely. And I love that his uncle says, like, as he's like falling in love with the Red Sox, careful kid, they'll break your heart.
Oh, the Boston accents in this movie.
I mean, I live close enough to Boston that I hear like similar accents up here all the time.
Oh, that's crazy. I always forget the East Coast to me is insane how close together all the states are. I'm like, Boston's got to be so far from you. How far is it?
4 hours to drive.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's crazy. It would take me that long to get to LA.
That's true.
So weird.
That is weird. Okay, so now we kind of jump to Lindsay and Ben, which is Drew and Jimmy's characters meeting. So, you know, he's a teacher and he's bringing his kids to her work to show them like a practical application of mathematics.
Yeah, I'm not sure what her title is, but I think she works in statistics or something like that.
Yeah.
When they first meet, I see her doing this little smirk and she's kind of looking him up and down, and it really reminds me of when her character first meets Knox, Sam Rockwell, and Charlie's Angels, because she's got that like, I'm kind of checking you out vibe. It's cute. It's very subtle, but if you know Drew's mannerisms, you'll catch it.
Yes.
And then I feel like when she sits down and she's like asking the kids, do you ever look at license plates or addresses and you rearrange the numbers? And I feel like we talked about once, like we both really love numbers and we're always looking for patterns. We always try to like even make our stupid episode numbers like have meaning.
It's like I don't necessarily like look at license plates and look at addresses, but like there are numbers I have feelings about. Like I'll look at a number and just be like, I don't like that one. Like I don't like.
What number don't you like?
Okay, I'll tell you. When I was working at Michael's, which I did forever, our aisle for the spray paint was aisle 8, and for some reason saying 8 is kind of a weird. Maybe it's because of that job, because I had to say aisle 8 so many times.
Aisle 8 is a little awkward.
Aisle 8,
but 8 is so pretty. It looks like infinity.
I love writing 8s.
See, the fact that we can nerd out about this is what I'm talking about. We have feelings about numbers.
Okay, I guess we can move on, but it is kind of a fun scene, and it makes the point to the kids. They're like, ooh, okay.
Yeah.
And then there's a deleted scene here that if you have the DVD, the special features have deleted scenes. Did you say they are online?
Yes. We'll link to them. There is one user on YouTube who like puts up special features from DVDs. It's amazing. Cool. So that's all the special features, which there are a lot on this one, we'll link to those.
In the deleted scene that would have been right here, Ben has Lindsay take the kids out to see her nice car. Which it is so cute to have like the dichotomy, because he drives this like VW bug that's like clearly like a 60s or 70s bug, and she has like a Porsche or something. I don't know what it is.
I think it's an Audi. I think that's like what the title of the deleted scene was. Like Lindsay shows off her Audi or something. Not that I know cars. I know cars like I know baseball. Okay, so then we get these scenes with Lindsay and her friends. They are always working out together. That's like a thing. I don't really, again, it's kind of weird, but whatever. They go to spin class. They're doing rock climbing. Later on, they're doing like boxing. So it's so funny. Drew's little line, I'm about to turn 2010, which is clever and cute, but also like so young.
So young. I mean, when this came out, we would have been under that age.
Yeah, but just like the panic over the age. But then I'm like, just a few years earlier in The Wedding Singer, she's 22 and she's gonna be doomed to be alone forever if she doesn't marry this guy. Like,
22. So at least 30 seems like somewhat reasonable. I don't know. So at this point, like her friends inquire about his teacher's income and if that would bother her. And I just like this line.
It's not like he's playing a flute with a hat full of dollar bills in front of him. He's a teacher.
It's a good one.
It's like, I don't know, almost adjacent to a Druism, though I'm sure it was written.
Yeah, you're so right. So she decides to go out with him. At first she had like turned him down, but then she decides to go for it. So she leaves him a little message at school and they have their first date. Mm-hmm. And that doesn't go so well. There's a lot of like rom-com-y tropes in this, but they're fun. She has like food poisoning, I guess. Do they ever even say like why she got so sick?
I don't know if they do. I think she says I think I ate something bad. I think it's like vague.
Yeah. It's very like over the top. She's like puking and stuff. But her dog, I think he's called Ernie in the movie.
He is.
I just wanted to point this out. Like we definitely thought at one point that the dog was played by Drew's real black and white dog, Vivian. Yeah. It's not. Like they have very different coloring on their faces, but there is a gag reel where Vivian is walking around. So to be fair to us,
I think we conflated it.
Yeah.
When I saw that in the gag reel, I was like, oh, that's how we know. And then because I watched the gag reel before the movie. And then when I watched the movie, I was like, totally not Vivian.
So funny. We have to point that out. Even though no one knows we thought that, we got to mention it. Correct ourselves.
But if you want to kind of see them in the gag reel talking about Drew's actual dog for a split second, it's very cute.
Oh, Vivian.
Yeah.
So yeah, Ben is pretty much perfect in this scene. He totally takes care of her. He's a total gentleman. He cleans up the mess of her puke.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he's just like waiting there at her place until she wakes up. Um, I like that he jokes that she's like, "Did you clean my bathroom?" or whatever she says, and he's like, "No, it was the vomit elves." Like, they did a great job.
That's like Jimmy riffing. I feel like that I just find very humorous. He's really good at that.
Yeah.
I do have to say, like backing up a little bit, he puts like a nightgown on her. And I don't believe for a second that this character has this super granny style nightgown. She's like sophisticated and sleek. Like her apartment is all modern and beautiful. Like she would have some beautiful, nice pajamas, not this grandma thing. I don't like it.
Maybe they're just like, what's the easiest thing to like put on?
I guess.
I don't know.
Even could have been like a little slip nightgown, and I would have believed it more than that thing.
You're right there. I'll say something about the film exchange here. So, in the movie, Lindsay says that she loves Annie Hall. Like that's the film she goes to when she's feeling sick and wants to watch at home.
One of Drew's favorites in real life. There's a lot of real life Drew they threw in here.
Yes. And in the film, Ben brings Roadhouse. But I was just going to say in the commentary, they said in the original script that it was the same film. Like, she says Young Frankenstein, and then he's like, "You won't believe it," and it's Young Frankenstein. And they were like, "No, that's like too unrealistic." And then it was like way funnier to have it be something cute. So different. I was like, that was such a good change. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, so I believe they go to lunch that day. Like maybe she's feeling better. Maybe it's the next day. Doesn't matter. They're having a nice little lunch date. Their first real date, I guess. And this whole part about how Lindsay talks about how her friends call her the seagull because she's always sneaking food off her friends' plates. And she even does a really good seagull impression. That is, again, also pulled from Drew's real life. There's even a chapter in her book, Wildflower, called The Seagull. But sadly, the origins of that is that she was often sent to school without lunch. So like that, it's kind of a bummer when you think about it. And of course, she like gives her mom an out in the book. She's like, it's not her fault, but it's like, well, it kind of is though.
It's interesting that like this comes from that very sad fact.
Yeah. I know, because it's so cute and funny in the movie. But
yes,
we gotta bring everybody down to earth with the sad reality of Drew's life.
Yeah. So I think she's trying to remember Ben's last name. They're like walking through the park. How could she
forget that he's the right man?
But he's like, "I bet you call me Ben the school teacher to your friends," and she kind of like, sheepishly. Yeah. And then she says like, "Well, what do you call me to your friends?"
I call you Lindsay, the vomit girl, the puker. Puke. I was like, "You going to puke tonight?" I'm like, "Yeah, why? Do you want to play games, video games or something?" Like, "No, I'm mad with puke."
That's horrible.
I love this part.
Yep. All right, so now he gets to meet the friends.
Yeah, and again, they're like, he's a freak if he's single at 30. Something's wrong with him.
I think it's so ridiculous that like that whole thing is like, oh, there must be a big reason. And then one of them tells a horror story about a guy having like bags of hair and nail clippings from his whole life.
But you know what? That does pay off with one of probably my favorite line in the whole movie. Later on, we'll get to that in a minute.
That's right.
I do like the vibe of all the girlfriends are sitting in like the bedroom with wine glasses. It felt very real to me. I liked that.
Yeah. And then the dudes are enthralled with Ben's stories about Red Sox games and like hearing about his seats for the first time.
It is really cute.
It is very like clearly divided gender roles here, but
yes,
but
it works. It works.
Yeah, it is what it is.
I had to laugh when they finally show Ben's apartment. Lindsay later says it's like he lives in a gift shop because it's just covered. Every surface is Red Sox. And I was like, this really makes the Jerseyum look like child's play. Like we look really normal compared to this.
Because we don't have it displayed on our walls.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why. No, just
Exactly.
kidding.
And then we get like a cute little montage of just them dating each other and liking each other and having a good time. This was the first time ever that I've understood so for Valentine's Day, he emails her a bouquet of roses, right? Did you know this before?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I'll tell you maybe why, though.
Please, you go ahead and share what it is.
Okay, so the dozens of roses all turn into heads of Pete Rose, the baseball player, famous
Which
baseball player.
I never knew.
Yeah. And I didn't remember that Drew talked about him in Babes in Toyland, though.
Oh, multiple times. That's the only reason he's on my radar as a person who exists in baseball.
Well, I was going to say, I framed a signed Pete Rose bat one time.
I bet you told that story in our Babes in Toyland episode. That's vaguely familiar.
Maybe so. Maybe so.
And then there's like a couple quick little scenes of them at Niagara Falls, which are really cute. So I have like a tabloid that shows pictures of her this day, and they're saying it's the day that her dad died, but like, how do they know that? Just that Fab is there like hugging her. And then you got the real deal in the commentary.
Yeah, so in the commentary, they said that the scene at the park, which is the next scene in the film, was cut in half because she got in the news like in the middle of the day. Her father had passed, and it halted production for a day. And then they came back and filmed a couple days later. But they said it was the day of the park scene. So it's interesting. But I bet this Niagara Falls stuff was very close in proximity and time.
Yeah, I bet you're right.
Probably within days.
And there's pictures of Fab on set hugging her both days. So that totally tracks.
Yep. But it was interesting for them to talk about it. And then again, like I think I said at the beginning, that she was just like, all right, I'm ready to get back to work like within a day. Like,
oh, Drew.
Yeah. Just pushing herself.
Yep. Okay. So now we're gotten to the part that you were just talking about. Jimmy and Drew's characters are at the park, just like grilling hot dogs or something, right?
Yeah, that's right. I forgot they were like actually cooking something.
And he kind of tells this really sweet little thing about all the reasons he likes her. It's very cute and endearing. And Drew says that she never knew that she talks out of the side of her mouth until Jimmy improvised that in this scene as one of the things he likes about her.
And she said that so many times. I'm like, I guess she's not lying about that.
Yeah, she's very clear that like that's the moment that changed everything for her awareness of herself.
Yep. All right. So here's where the bag of hair comes back.
Okay. So Ben is like,
there's something you don't know about me.
Oh God, here comes the bag of hair.
And I think I've tried to reference that like to people, or at least to you. I think it's such a good line. I don't know why.
I'm sure we've laughed very hard about it to each other and no one knew what the hell we were talking about.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, so he's admitting like just how much of a Red Sox fan he is. And she kind of interprets it in a romantic way, which I could actually see Drew really doing. And says, like, because she can love the Red Sox, whether they're winning or losing, she says you can love under the best and the worst circumstances, which is really sweet.
Very cute. Although I do find this sweet scene, it gets interrupted by, it's a little fucked up that he gets down on one knee with a ring box to ask her to go to opening day. I'm like, don't do that. Don't pretend you're going to propose to someone if you're not.
Like, would he really be that silly to like, to do that almost as like a prank? I don't know, but
yeah, it's very Tom Green.
The look on Lindsay's face at the time was like, oh no, this is not happening.
Yeah, she's so relieved that she just like gets over how messed up it was.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of fun. He starts doing an impression of Jimmy Stewart in It's a Wonderful Life, which if you don't know, Drew's great uncle Lionel Barrymore is in that as the villain. So that's fun. I'm sure she enjoyed that.
Yeah, I love little connections like that. And how could she not?
Yeah.
Okay, so now we've got a couple deleted scenes.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure where they fit. I tried to just put them where I thought they probably went. But yeah.
Okay, so They did a road trip to Toronto for a bunch of games, and there was a whole bunch of game footage that was used elsewhere from this. Drew threw out the first pitch at a Toronto Yankees game on October 1st.
Yeah, it's so cute. And then there's another deleted scene, and I'm really glad they cut this one out. It's goofy. Ben and Lindsay are in a sports bar watching the game, and she says to some guy there, "It's only a game." And then the whole bar is like record scratch, and they all turn around and they're getting mad. And Drew and Jimmy nervously back out of they're like, "Oh,
it's over the top."
It's so silly. Yeah, that had to go.
All right, so now we jump to Drew visiting her parents. So this is one of the few times that Drew is playing a character that has parents that are like together and seem like a very functional relationship. Like, I mean, they do have spats, but like parents that are together. And I think we have an episode about parentless.
Yeah, we sure do. We have a whole episode about parentless characters and about how many characters Drew played, mostly growing up, where she either has no parents or only one parent or, all
broken
kinds of things, broken families. So this always stood out to me as like such a unique part of her filmography that she's just playing a girl from like a quote unquote normal family.
Mm-hmm. Who's very successful and has her shit together.
Yeah. And then speaking of Drew growing up, I love this. I'm such a sucker for prop photos that are real from the person's life. There is a picture of her from the Ray Bradbury Theater's The Screaming Woman from 1985, I think it is, above the TV at her parents' house. So it's a very random pull. I'm like, of all things, how did this get to be the thing that they pull?
So funny. So funny, but also I kind of like that it's like a lesser known thing.
Yes,
if it
that's
had been
true.
Something like too
like
recognizable.
Got the pigtails, she's kissing E.T. goodbye.
But
that would work.
I had definitely never noticed that before. So
Me
good
neither.
eye. It's cool to watch out for that stuff. And you've pointed out a bunch.
It must just be the quality of the like streams that we're getting now, because the same thing happened in Doppelganger. There was a childhood photo of her that we'd never noticed.
That's right. That's
kind of weird. Everything getting HD, we can just find these things.
I mean, I bet you're right. I totally noticed the same thing that you noted here. So in ads and clips for TV, there's the scene where Ben is expressing that like his priorities in life or whatever are Red Sox, sex, and breathing. And all the ones for TV like just remove sex completely.
Yeah, it's so goofy.
Red Sox, breathing.
Yeah, it's not as funny. You got to have the rule of 3, and it's also like, wow, sex? You can't say sex?
Yeah, it's like, what?
Oh my god, what a weird thing.
I've always loved the like just little detail that the dad is like not putting his glasses on until after Ben's scene is over on the TV, so he doesn't actually like see his like he doesn't see Lindsay's guy that he's gonna like maybe he wouldn't remember him anyway.
I never put that together. That's such a cool detail.
I mean, it's just neat because he's like, who's this idiot or whatever, and then he puts his glasses on. So it's
it's almost like if he had seen him with his glasses on TV, maybe when they met at the restaurant, he'd be like, "Oh, you're that asshole from spring training." That's so funny.
I mean, I just like the little detail. I don't know.
Me too. We love tidbits. So then there's another deleted scene, and this is again like the female friendships just being shitty. All the friends are like at a bar and they're saying that Lindsay should break up with Ben because of this Red Sox obsession. But instead, like literally Drew just sits there with no lines, and the ladies all like talk over her and start fighting with each other. It's again, glad it's gone.
I'm glad it's gone too. It was weird. Like when I was watching that deleted scene, I'm like, is she going to say anything?
Yeah, it's very strange.
Now there's this whole silly scene of the game schedule, like draft day. So Ben gets his season tickets. He gets the whole season of tickets, and his friends are gonna dance. They're gonna do all kinds of silly stuff to get the games that they want.
I like it. It's pretty fun. I like that this would be like a tradition in their friendship.
Yeah. And it's really silly. And then while they're in the midst of that, and Ben is like using a megaphone literally, Lindsay comes and visits.
Yeah, and she's like, "Oh, I saw you on TV." I do love the little jacket that he gives her, the little Red Sox jacket. It's super cute.
Mhm.
I did read somewhere that the sales of that increased a whole bunch when the movie came out. Who knows if that's true or not, but yeah, I could see it. It's very like she looks great in it.
She does look great. And I just noted this little quote of Ben, Jimmy's character, saying, I got to be honest, this is making me hot as soon as she puts it on.
She looks hot.
But that's such a like, like she's now like melded with his gift shop home.
Yeah, it's like my two favorite things. I noticed in that scene her makeup is especially beautiful. Robin did a really great job on her makeup in this movie. She looks so pretty.
Yeah, she does. I don't think I recognized in that scene specifically, but she does look so pretty throughout.
Yeah. And then I really like how she delivers this line because he's like, wait a minute, like, are you breaking up with me?
What? Hey, I told you. See, it always happens. Every time
Oh, don't jump off a building. We're just talking.
And for like 24 hours, it's been in my head. What does that remind me of? And I finally remembered it's the way she delivers the line in Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, where she's talking about her dream. And Chuck is like, getting all stressed out. And she's like, I only want to tell you my dream is all. Nothing more complicated than that. Don't panic. It's like totally the same.
Yeah, very similar vibe. Okay, so now we go to opening day, which is, where Jimmy proposed to her to
God.
go to opening day.
I didn't love that when they first get there, she like doesn't understand and has no enthusiasm about how close his seats are. I don't buy that for a second. Like, it doesn't matter what event you're at. If you're at the front and that's good seats.
That's true. That's true. And maybe it's just kind of showing her like nonchalance about the whole thing.
Yeah.
More than like anything. I don't know.
But I guess I'm putting myself in that situation. I'd still be like, oh my gosh, you're right here. That's so cool.
Yeah, me too. Okay, so I was like, had kind of vaguely remembered a story that the hat that Jimmy Fallon wears in the movie so he got it from a fan. It's like super sweat stained and like really worn. And when I listened to the commentary, they confirmed that they literally like, I think Jimmy said like, can I borrow your hat from the movie? And he like gave it to him.
That's so cool. I think
know.
he says he kept it too. So yeah, hopefully that guy didn't mind.
But yeah, it was like, well worn, like well utilized hat.
Yeah, it's very realistic. I don't think it's the opening day game, but then there's other games that are shown. Lindsay's going to all these games now. One of them, Stephen King throws out the first pitch, which I thought was so cool. And I'm like, I hope they got to say hi to each other and have a little reunion, because they do. Well, I guess it didn't have to be Drew, but they do show like the back of her head while he's pitching. Maybe it was a stand-in, but
that's a good.
That would have been cute.
And this is the point in the movie where Lindsay's character learns all about the curse of the Bambino. And I just bring this up because like everyone who sits around them is like just like rolling their eyes about all the stories, and it's cute that she's like learning about why this is such a big deal. I don't know.
They're also like, this girl.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we get a scene where Ben is going to meet Lindsay's parents. They're going to go to dinner together, and she's in his room. And I just thought I didn't like this for Lindsay. She's being really rude to him going through his closet. She's like, This is not a man's closet. You're like a man boy. Like, that's a little harsh.
Yeah, and then she's like, half man, half boy.
Yeah. And his clothes he wears when he teaches are all like presentable looking.
Yeah.
Whatever. Maybe I'm thinking too much about it.
But they like in the scene you're showing her just go through like jersey. Yep. I have to just bring up that when they meet the parents, they go to dinner. The part where he's like, here's somebody talking about the Red Sox game, and it's like la 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 la, and she covers his ears. It is very like funny and slapsticky, like especially how he like holds up his shiny fingers and like shows the parents. It's so silly. It's probably in the trailer. I don't know if it is.
Yeah, I bet you anything. I bet you're right.
Yep. And then this is followed by a deleted scene where Ben tries to initiate sex and Lindsay has like too much work to do. and she's like embarrassed by his actions at dinner, and they have a fight.
Yeah, there's a couple deleted scenes where they're like fighting. And I would imagine they probably took those out to be more like, no, we're rooting for this couple.
Yeah.
Then there's more games, baseball, baseball, baseball. That's what we're watching in this movie. There's a really, really cute brief shot where she's in like an oversized t-shirt, which I thought was really cute because that's not the type of thing her character normally wears.
Yeah.
And then we do get a really quick peek at tattoos, which we always love. Both her back tattoos and her butterfly are shown very quickly while they're about to get it on after a game.
She's really turned on by baseball now.
Yeah.
All right, then we get to the scene where Lindsay is like working on her computer at the game. Like everyone around them's pissed about it anyway. And then,
I mean, it is a little much that you would be doing that.
And then Lindsay gets hit by a fly ball right in her forehead and gets knocked out immediately.
Oh, of course, that was in every trailer.
Yes, of course.
Of course. I did think that the guy in front of her grabbing her laptop and saving it was really nice. But even though they'd all been so annoyed by the laptop.
I've always noticed that like gingerly like picking up of the laptop. Yep.
I thought this weird, it's like the tone is really weird and it's so unnecessary. There's this like 3-second scene right after this where she's like getting an MRI and she's like all mad. I'm like, why did we need that? Because right after that, Ben's on the phone telling her mom like they didn't find anything was wrong, like we're good. I don't know, I don't like it. I don't like MRIs, I guess. It feels
maybe it's just supposed to make it feel like
heavy,
more dramatic.
Yeah.
I don't know. I did like, there's a part where like Lindsay's laying in bed and she says something like, you know, you go to the games and then you come home and I'll be waiting. And then I don't know, there's like an exchange between them. And then it's just cute because he's like, oh, like trying to like kiss her. And she's like, just make sure the peas stay on my head. I don't know why I've always thought that's so
frozen peas bouncing on her little welt. It is sweet.
Yes, I don't know why I thought it was cute.
I think I have this deleted scene in the wrong spot. I was trying to like the quality is really bad. I couldn't tell if she had the bump on her forehead or not, but there's another really quick one where she's taking a bath and she's like, Ben, and he's on the phone with his friend talking about the Red Sox and he's kind of ignoring her. Again, like pull that out because we want to know that this is a good couple, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So Andrew Wilson, this is when his character comes in. He's a client that she did work for, and he says, you know, the work she did was brilliant. And this is where I noted, like, I am so embarrassed I didn't know it was him because, like, I'm listening to his voice right there, and I'm like, yeah, this is a Wilson brother. Like, I'm thinking of him being the driver in Charlie's Angels. Anyway, and then Lindsay like doesn't have her shoes on. She's going to all these games and now she's getting like tired and you know
sleeping at her desk and
now her heels aren't on. Yeah. And I was like, it looks like her feet, but you can't see her toe tattoo. So I'm wondering if that was a little double they used there.
Yeah, because I saw your note while I was watching, I was like, let me just try to look. And I also didn't see her tattoo, but they really did look like her feet.
Yeah.
It's funny that we would know, but
we're not creeps.
Not at all. What was the game they played on? What was the show? Drew trying to recognize her own feet.
Oh, yeah. That was so recent. Yes, yeah. That was on Watch What Happens Live. And I like knew every single one. And that's not creepy at all.
Not at all. So Lindsay goes to visit Ben at school. He's a school teacher, so she goes and visits him. And you notice something kind of cool.
Yeah, I've always known this one. I noticed it in the movie theater. She is wearing this very distinct sort of jade color, huge stone necklace. And she also wears it in Charlie's Angels Full Throttle. So must have been one of her personals, which we talk about it all the time. We love her wardrobe recycle. Mm-hmm. If you want to see pictures, I'll put up a little side by side on the episode page.
Very cool. So this part's a little bit of a bummer. So Lindsay's going there to like say she's going to Paris for work and she wants to take him along.
Yeah.
But he looks over at the schedule for the games and can't go. And he literally says, they need me, meaning the Red Sox.
Oof. Yeah. That's definitely, it's not good. I mean, I like that he pretty much realizes how fucked up it is right away. And he's like, tries to like
Well,
be like, never mind, never mind. I do want to go, but it was
yeah.
a little too late, buddy.
Yep. And then Drew, Drew.
They're all the same.
Lindsay says that she's late. And then there's this kind of beat. And what it is she's late and might, there's supposed to be this kind of like pregnancy scare.
Yeah. I had totally forgotten about this.
I shouldn't say scare.
Well, yeah, it's sort of. But yeah, I don't remember this at all. I was like, oh my God, that's right. But the more I thought about it, because like, we'll jump ahead a little bit. Turns out she was just actually late. She's not pregnant. But I'm like, there's no way this character wouldn't immediately have gotten a pregnancy test. She wouldn't have just waited to see if she got her period.
That's true, because she says like over a week late.
Yeah. No,
that's very
not
true.
my girl, Lindsay. Lindsay would have been on top of it.
It's very true. But I always thought it was really cute. Like, she gets her period. They find out she's not pregnant. And they show that like Ben had bought a Red Sox onesie and he like tucks it away inside of a drawer.
Oh, like sadly.
Yeah. And the commentary says that always did like really well with the ladies in the audience. Like,
that's funny. I definitely remember us being that way. I definitely remember that.
It's very cute.
Yeah, it is. Okay, so then Lindsay comes back from Paris. There's a brief deleted scene here of Ben picking her up at the airport, and she apologizes for all the drama, which is so silly because she just thought she was pregnant. Maybe she's apologizing for not going and taking a freaking test. And she does say that she kicked ass on her trip, so that's cute. But I guess it was just unnecessary. They cut that out. But it is fun to see her in his Volkswagen Beetlebug because we love that. And from Mad Love, of course, her yellow one.
Yep.
Your note.
I just love the twins in Mad Love. I think it's the girl says like, what's with the Herbie car?
And then the boy says, it's a Volkswagen. Blah, 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 blah. And she says, there's some useful knowledge for you.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, those little kids. We love them.
Yeah.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. Yes. And then this scene where like he's dropping her off has some like really heartwarming exchanges between them.
It's definitely like, I feel like she makes really good and valid points of like, because he's like, I told you this is like my thing. And she's like, yeah, I know. And he's like, that's what you like about me. And she's like, yeah, but I was hoping you would like direct that towards me one day. Like, I love you that way. It's very sweet.
All those things that you feel for that team, I feel them too. For you.
And then I guess they don't really show it, but I guess he just like off camera, he's like, you know what? You're right. And I'm going to miss the first time ever. I'm going to miss a game to go to your friend's birthday party. So he just like shows up. It's not like discussed.
He must feel like he has to make it up for her for not agreeing to go to Paris. I mean, I don't know. It's a big deal, but suddenly we're at this 1920s Gatsby themed party. Yay.
So
it's
cute.
It's so cute. There's so much cute stuff. Of course, we both love Drew's look here, the flapper girl look. I always love her black hair. And I noticed this time that the wig is kind of giving like Detour 1998 cover. Like, is this like bangs? Like,
helmet-y.
I never really, yeah.
I see it.
But such a cute look.
Oh, she looks so good.
And there's lots of fun like dancing.
Yeah. I love her little 80s head. What would you call that? Head wave? I don't know.
I don't know. There's probably
really
a
good
name for it. It ends and they had such a good time. They're at valet and they can hear on the radio that this Red Sox game. And like, it's cute. Like Lindsay starts to cover his ears and he's like, no, it's just a game. It's only a game or something. It was like,
yeah, it is sweet. And then they like go home and they have this amazing connection with sex. They're just talking about it afterwards. They're so in love. And he's like, this is the greatest night of my life. It's really sweet. And then we get a hard turn.
Yeah, we do. So Ben finds out that it was an amazing game.
Like the greatest game ever. He literally like starts like panting and sweating.
Yes. So I like that Lindsay is in the kitchen. She's like,
There are 3 eggs in Spanish omelet. Hi.
Yeah. She's so happy.
in the commentary, they said, like, she sure can carry a tune. Like,
Oh, that's funny. Can she?
but I do like that she's like singing, and there's this is like a huge turn.
Yeah, because he comes in and he's like, this is a nightmare. This is worse than a nightmare. She's like, 2 minutes ago, you said it was best night of your life. He's like, that was 2 minutes ago. Like, I've never missed a game. Pretty much blames her. It's really sad.
It is really sad.
Like, I get it. I get that. Like, I understood that feeling of like the thing that you're so into and you just missed like the best thing that's ever happened with that. I get that. But like, no, no, it's not okay.
And then he's like,
name me a single thing that you've cared about for 23 years.
Yeah, no, there isn't actually anything I've wanted for 23 years because 23 years ago I was 7, and if I still wanted to marry Scott Baio, I would think that my life went terribly wrong. I just thought tonight was so different. You broke my heart, Ben.
Oh. We went from the best time they've ever had. They're so in love to that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's I totally get why she's like, and we're done.
Yep.
So yeah, we have the sad little breakup. There's a ton of baseball footage here. A ton.
Yes.
I think they're like trying to get us up to speed on what's happening in the season.
Yeah. So if you want to look up the 2004 World Series, go ahead. Because it's like, because we're not going to be able to summarize the like what was going on with the games.
You have full permission.
It was getting very exciting.
Yeah.
Like the Red Sox were doing really well. I just have to point out, because I thought this scene is like over the top but funny.
It is.
So he's so upset that he locks himself in his apartment and is torturing himself by watching the Buckner game, which it's weird that I knew about.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I knew about Bill Buckner because of like an old friend, like told me about it and showed me the video. The guy, like, the ball just rolls between his legs. Like he totally misses it and it rolls. But it's pretty ridiculous.
I do love how the friend is like, where did you get this tape? Do you have other copies? Like it is humorous.
So he's just watching it on repeat, like literally torturing himself while there's like this almost like clown-like song that's like, Yastrzemski. It's like so sad and over the top. And then they shower him.
I didn't note this anywhere, but I don't like, there's like 2 gay panic moments with Willie Garson. That's his name, right? From Sex and the City, where it's like, oh, he might be gay. Oh,
yeah.
So silly.
Yeah.
I don't like
I noticed that too. I think he's passed away.
He has. I saw him at the 101 once.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Anyway, yeah.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. Okay. And then Ben realizes, like, I need Lindsay. Like, this isn't worth it. And he goes to her apartment. I definitely remember us watching this scene and being like, oh, he's so cute. And I feel like we compared him to Matt Costa at this time. Does that ring any bells to you?
It doesn't, but I'm not surprised.
Okay. So yes, Ben comes to Lindsay's to basically like be like, come on, let's try this again. And Andrew Wilson opens the door holding her dog, looking very comfortable.
Mm-hmm. Very much so.
Yeah. And they're having a little party. It's not like they're on a date, but is she on a date?
Yeah. It seems a little, I guess like 2 other people from work are there and they're hanging out. She doesn't admit to it being a date, but whatever.
She doesn't, but there's almost an undertone of like, but it might turn into one, right? Like, there's definitely a vibe between them.
Absolutely. And I just had to note that in this, what she looks like in this scene is exactly what she's like wearing and looks like in the interview and the promo video.
Yeah.
So they must have just like on set been like, okay, look, we're going to do some like stuff for the DVD.
I noticed that too. It's cute. But yeah, it's a really sad scene. Like I feel like they both give really good performances in this scene. Like I really believe that they're both just like really hurting and heartbroken over this.
Ben, I just got so hurt. Really hurt. And sometimes, when that happens, Something inside just shuts off.
And it's basically like she's like saying no to him.
Yeah. Yeah. She's just like, sorry. Like it was too much.
Yep.
And then there's a deleted scene here that I do not have any. You could have shown me a picture of this and I would have been like, what the hell is this from? Where Lindsay's on a golf course playing golf with her dad. It's really sweet.
It's
he's
really
like
cute,
wanting to help her. And he's saying, you know, like when you were little, I knew how to help you. And I just thought like, we just know how Drew is about father figures. And I can imagine this one really meant a lot to her and that she was, you know, it's what she never had. And her dad had just passed away. Like, oy.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even
She
think
looks so
about that.
cute
She
in her
does
little
look cute.
striped polo.
And I also didn't recognize it at all.
At all. I was like, what is this?
I also feel like she looks just different enough for some
Yeah.
reason because of her. Maybe it's the clothes, maybe it's something else. I don't know, but she looks just different enough that I also probably would be like, what the heck is that from?
Wild.
Yeah, it is weird.
See, guys, as much as we know about this lady, we can still be surprised.
Yes. So they're having a girls' night out, but Ione Skye's character admits that she's pregnant.
Yeah, I thought it was funny because she's like says no to alcohol and they're like, what? And I was like, oh, that's exactly how my friends like outed me as pregnant when I was pregnant with Mila because we went out and I was like, I'm not going to drink. And it was like, huh? Wait a minute.
Something's going on here. And then shortly after this, Lindsay finds out that she got this huge promotion that she's been up for.
I love this line.
Oh my God, now my breasts are engorged.
I love it because the other friend had just said, I thought your boobs looked engorged or something.
Yeah.
It was really great and great delivery on Drew's part.
Very
obviously.
good. And as she's like running out to go to this like promotion celebration, she hears her rich snobby friend saying that Ben is selling his baseball tickets to her husband, which I'm like, girl, how could you not have like said something
Before that? Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe she just thought she didn't want to hear about Ben.
Yeah,
I guess
maybe.
at this point they're not really like talking about him. Yes, so because she's hearing about this, she goes to this party for her promotion. She's like literally like toasting.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm sorry. I just realized he's doing this for me, and just like leaves.
She says like, I like it here. I like this work. It's safe. And she realizes like, that's Ben's thing. He said it's safe, you know, predictable like math. So yeah, it's sweet. Okay, so she, of course, now we get our total rom-com, like, dun, 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 what's going to happen? She hurries over to Fenway Park and she has to get a ticket. And I thought it was funny because there's like a scalper outside and he's charging the outrageous amount of $300 a ticket for playoffs. And I'm like, that's probably so cheap these days.
That's probably like cheaper than the regular price for tickets for playoff tickets.
I do love that he makes her buy two. And then he's like, well, I'll buy it back from you for like half price or something. And she just rips it and goes, nah.
He says, I'll buy it back from you for like $50. And they cut to Al Waterman. Is that his name?
The narrator of this film, by the way. Random.
That's right. So the guy who like is a sponge manufacturer or something, he sees Ben like about to sign the paperwork to sell off his season tickets, which you're supposed to like inherit, and if you like you're not, it's like illegal to sell them anyway. So he goes,
you're having a stroke. Good.
I don't know, I have always thought that was so funny.
He's a pretty funny guy. Like I like him. He's like at the very first game that Ben ever had, and he's always there. It's cute.
Yeah.
For some reason, when he wrote that note, it reminded me of Gary Marshall in Never Been Kissed saying, wieners, they got hot wieners. You're having a stroke. Good. It's not the same, but it's giving me the same energy.
Baseball stand energy.
Yeah, exactly. So Lindsay grabs someone's binoculars and sees that Ben's getting ready to sign. And she's got to jump in. And she's not the only one who's going to jump in. Okay, so just as our friend Lindsay drops onto the Red Sox game field, we decided it'd be really fun to have someone drop in on our podcast episode, and we're not going to have security arrest him. This is all above board. So we have Mark from the podcast Release Date Rewind here to join us.
I'm dropping in. I'm breaking the rules. I'm taking my heels off, and we're going for a run. Hi.
Hi. Welcome.
Thanks so much for having me. Of course, I know your show. I love our friendship on Instagram, and I've listened to many episodes. And congrats, by the way, on being on Drew's talk show. That was big.
Thank you. Yeah, that was kind of a big deal.
Big birthday and everything. Of course, this is a big year for Drew. But I had asked, and I was like, hey, are you doing Fever Pitch? Because I couldn't make it on my show. Just too much to talk about. But I love this movie, so I'm dropping in for the grand finale.
I love that. Well, and it's so cool that you pay attention to the release dates. We love that. We're kind of nerds for dates and anniversaries and all that. We've only done a couple movies on anniversaries, but when it aligns, it's like extra special. So I love that that's the whole premise of your show.
Yeah. I've maybe not ever since I can remember, but at least for a long, long time, I've always appreciated just kind of remembering like release dates, not of every single movie I've seen, but like, the highlights. And I knew because my birthday's actually in a few days. So I always associate Fever Pitch with like, oh yeah, that's my like birthday week. And Never Been Kissed was my birthday movie.
April 9th, right?
April 9th. Good memory. Yep. So then this is April 8th. So like, there's some really great classic Drew, and how funny the two of them, like baseball finale.
Yes.
I mean, what's like, right? April, baseball, big kiss on the field, all that good stuff. So yeah, I've always just liked kind of rewatching great movies from the past on or around their anniversary anyway. So that's why I wanted to do the show. And yeah, for you guys, it makes sense, of course, because you're talking about Drew in every episode all over the place,
Yes.
But yeah, I could see when it aligns like this, that's extra fun, to really go like back 20 years, like right now,
Yeah, I
So
think
cool.
the coolest thing about that, about like the date sort of thing, is that you're putting yourself back into that space, especially if it's something you saw when it was released. Like, I think that's one of the most fun things. But for us also, we're like Drew Barrymore historians. So we're talking about like maybe things that actually happened in her life while it was filming. So it's a whole other take. Like, I love all these different takes and like the reasons people go over movies. Like, it's such a fun...
all the personal stuff, whether it's like Drew's personal stuff or like our own, like what we were doing, how old were we, what were we experiencing, and like, I just think it's kind of fun to just, because it's more than a movie. I mean, obviously, like we all love Drew. You guys are Drew historians, so it's like, like when you first saw like that opening scene in Scream, or like when you first saw her with Adam Sandler in Wedding Singer, it's just like, what'd you think? Where were you? Who were you with? I just love all that stuff. So.
Yeah, those formative moments for us.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Okay, so why did you want to jump in with us, besides the like fun pun of it, for this scene? Is it because it's the finale?
Oh gosh. Okay. So I love this movie, and I rewatched it earlier today for the first time in a while. Had you guys seen it recently, or has it been a long time?
No, long time.
It had been a while for me as well, but I remember it so well. Like,
same.
I've watched it enough that I was like, oh, it's like, it feels fresh, but it also feels familiar.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. So like, I have always liked it, and I'm not a sports guy whatsoever. Like half the stuff they're talking about, I'm like, what? Like Mark McGuire? I remember he was a baseball player, right? I'm like, but I just think the two of them, I mean, Drew with really a wall is like, wow, sign me up, right? But like Drew and
so
Jimmy,
believably in love.
Oh my God, they're so dang cute. I know Jimmy can just kind of all the time get a little much, and maybe some people may think Drew can as well, but I just think the two of them are great. And that ending, I have to say, I think, and I thought this already, but I like reestablished it just this morning. I think it's one of the best endings of a rom-com. I think that big finale is like definitely top 10 rom-com endings for me personally. Maybe even top 5.
Yeah, if you just think of scope alone, like it's pretty incredible that everything, is filmed at these real games, and
how it came together. It's wild.
Yeah, I have a really fun. This is one of my favorite quotes from Drew. Yeah. Unfortunately, we don't have the audio of this one. It's like disappeared off the internet, but this was on Dateline when she was promoting the movie, and she talked about this scene. So I'm just going to read this because it's so Drew and it's so fun. So she said, that was an actual game. The second they finished, the crowd stayed. And I'm running across the field, and there are 33,000 people. I'm like a corgi dog. I was like, oh God, this is so. Do I look like a pot sticker running across this field? I feel like one. I feel like a dumpling who's rolling out of control. And my little legs were going so fast. I thought they were going to buckle underneath me, and I was going to go down. And I thought how embarrassing this was going to be. And no way. Lindsay is way too cool. She's athletic. She can do it. And I like strapped on the jogging bra and was like, I am Lindsay. I am going to do this.
Wow, that, and bravo to you, Ashley. You sounded like Drew. That was a monologue.
I've heard it a lot in my head. I feel like a dumpling who's rolling out of control.
We didn't need Drew's audio.
Right? No need. No, I think if anything, no need to like ever do audio. You can just channel her and like just a Drew monologue. I would never call her a corgi rolling around.
No.
I think she is like booking it. She is running actually quite gracefully. I feel like, because when she lands, I still to this day I rewind it because I'm like, God, it looks like she really hurt herself.
Did
she? Oh.
Yes. So she had cracked her tailbone 2 years prior doing Full Throttle during like the big fight scene in the like boat or whatever it is. And then she landed on her tailbone here and she was hurt, but like, Drew just going to carry through.
Wow. Because it looks painful. And then, but then, they, I think, cut back to like Jimmy and then they go back to her and she's taking her shoes off. So it's like, okay, she's a trooper, but like, oh yeah, the way she arches her back, I'm always like, oh
yeah, it's too real looking, right? I thought the same.
Yeah, like they must have just done that once. It's like one and done. I bet the run was probably one and done. Like how weird it would be to like if they kept having her run. Like
especially with holding all the people in the crowd.
That's what I was thinking. They probably had really limited time to film it.
God, oh my God, like I don't know what it is. And maybe I feel like I'm in good company that you would agree. But even when I first saw this in theaters, I was probably either 17 or about to be 18. But I like get emotional when she's running through. Maybe it's the song.
Yeah, yes,
like,
the music.
I get the goosies. I get goosebumps, and like they're like, "Oh, this idiot!" And she's crying, right? She's like, she can't go that way. She's trying to call the friend, like all these hurdles, right? And then when she's there, it's so hilarious, but it is so touching that this normal woman is doing something absolutely insane.
Yeah, totally out of her norm.
Right? And the way the camera, like they're actually using like, I guess like the actual baseball camera because it looks a little different quality.
Yes.
And when it's zooming and she's running, I get emotional. Like I had tears in my eyes. I'm just like, this is so wild and such a great movie moment. And it's so sweet. I love it so much, guys. Like truly top tier moment. Someone do that for me, please.
Oh, you're in great company here.
Agree?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. I mean, I love that you made that comparison to Never Been Kissed, just like the field being a thing. Like, I didn't really think about it, but also like those are both like, they make you feel warm and tingly, like you
really
said.
Get that feeling. Yeah.
And every time, I think it has to be the combo of the music, the celebration, so cool.
And she's so darn cute. I mean, she looks great in both those movies, but especially at the end of Never Been Kissed, she's like straight up like a doll standing there in pink, right? With her little curls, right? But like, it's so funny. Right? Yeah, I know. We're all like, right? Like standing straight with like flowers or whatever she has in her hand. But yeah, it is kind of crazy that they both have their big climax on a baseball field. What are the odds? It's not like Drew seems to be like a massive baseball fan. So it's just funny how this worked out. But this one, I mean, that's a great ending. Love that movie so much. But this ending, and then when she runs to him and oh my God, the purse like hitting the security. Like that's the thing. It's actually so funny, but it's also a little stressful, like
is she gonna make it?
Right? Is she gonna make it? Is she gonna get tackled? And I kind of forgot because it's been a while. I'm like, do they tackle her?
It totally feels like that would work there.
Right?
Yes.
Oh.
You have to tell us about the song, by the way, because you blew our minds. I don't know like why we just hadn't gotten there in researching, I guess.
Okay. Well, you know what's so funny? Okay, so my mind was blown 20 years ago because I was so obsessed with the song. And so that was my senior year of high school. I did not see this opening day. I thought I did, but I was in Disney World on our senior high school trip because I turned 18 in Disney World at the Rainforest Cafe.
Oh my God,
cool?
iconic.
What a
Iconic.
time.
Right?
Place
With like
that
with like
right
a bunch
there.
of people. Half of them weren't even my friends, but it was like, yeah, sure, you can come to my birthday lunch. But so I must have seen it a few days later. Okay, so I was 18. So I still to this day, but back then had a video camera everywhere, very Dawson, like recording friends, sometimes like scripted stuff, but like just like the first reality show kind of thing. Like we're just gonna this is so interesting going to Disney World. Anyway, so I shot a bunch of footage in Disney, and as I was editing, I was like, God, I love that Fever Pitch song. I'm gonna put that in like the end credits.
Oh my gosh.
And made like end credits like because the lyrics are like just when you think it's all over, it's not over, right? So like I just thought like that's such a nice way to end it, and that's when I discovered it's Tears for Fears, which do you agree it doesn't? I mean, it just sounds pretty different than like some of their other major hits.
Yes.
You know?
When I was like, wait, Tears for Fears, the group from the 80s, like, wait.
When Anne told me, I was like, I'm sorry, that can't be right.
Right. Like you can hear it a little bit, you can hear I should know, the lead singer's voice a bit, but it just sounds way more rocky.
Yes.
Like, right? It's not so synthy, like a little croony, like how they normally are.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm so glad.
Kind of grungy a little.
It's grungy.
And they're normally like a new wave vibe.
Yes, a little cleaner, a little like smoother, right? And this is just like, we're gonna rock out, but with like so much heart. I love it. And have you heard the full song? Because this is only the snippet, like the end.
I was going to say, I listened to the first 2 minutes, and then I was
like, were you so confused? Yeah.
I was like, where is it? And then I was like, oh my God, 2 minutes and 15 seconds is the only part I recognize. And then the rest is unfamiliar.
It does a total shift. And like the before is cool. It's just a completely different song.
Completely different.
It's two songs in one.
Is this the bridge? Like what part of the song do they call like the I always called it the part of the song that doesn't sound like the rest of the song.
That's what a bridge is.
A bridge, So it's just like an ongoing bridge for like the end of the song, because then I think it takes us out. I should have listened to the song before. Now when I get in the car, I'm gonna blast it.
I didn't listen yet either.
But yeah, it's a total shift. And so when I was doing those end credits for my like Disney trip video, I just kept looping the same, because it's not that long. It's only really like a minute. So I'm like, well, I really like this part. So we're gonna keep this going for like 3 minutes.
Amazing.
Now I have to find that old video.
Yes,
it might
please.
be digitized somewhere.
I live
and now
for
I have
stuff
to,
like that.
I have to send you guys at least the end. I'll clip. You don't need to see the full hour of us like waiting in line.
We might want to. I don't know.
That's my kind of entertainment.
Right.
And also like we got excited because of course there's like the Donnie Darko connection with Tears for Fears, and like we love Donnie Darko.
I
So
didn't
that
even
was
think
cool.
about that. You're so right. Oh God, Donnie Darko's truly the best.
Yeah, that was one of the ones we did on the anniversary, and it wasn't even planned. It was like, but it wasn't like a big anniversary. I think it was like, do you remember, Anne? Like 22 years or something like that.
But it was right around, that's great though.
But it was
like,
the right
around
date.
that time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, love it. I wonder that makes me wonder if Drew had anything to do with Tears for Fears in this movie.
That's what I was thinking, because she definitely gets involved with the music big time. So
she's got great
and
taste.
she has that like way of just getting whatever rights to anything she wants. She can just pick up the phone and sweet talk people. So
right? Absolutely. I mean, because we know I forget if she produced Fever Pitch, but obviously she produced Charlie's. Did she produce Fever Pitch?
Did.
Okay. So of course, because she produced Donnie and Charlie. So man, I want her to do more. I mean, I know she's so busy with her talk show, but I want her to do more movies. Like,
I know.
I am still bummed she hasn't directed more, because I love Whip It. I know you guys have talked about Whip It, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
of course. It was the first movie we ever covered.
But oh God, I loved it. And again, great music selection.
She was like psychotically obsessed with the music on that one.
And well, we thank her.
Yes, absolutely. I bought it on vinyl, and there's like a little sticker on it that says like something like, this is my personal playlist, or I forget what it says. It says something like very like a little personal message about like how much heart she put into it. Like,
love
come
that.
on, so cool.
Yeah, that's a girl.
Oh God.
We need more of like her vision out there.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
know, but not like she has any time, right? Like the talk
I
show.
know.
I used to work in talk shows. It's actually really funny because I'm pretty sure some of the people I work with work on her show.
Oh, I bet.
And it's such a weird. I mean, I don't miss that world, but it's fun for a while. And then you're like, oh my God, we're just in like Groundhog Day. Like, who's the guest today?
I know.
You know?
We've been talking about like, oh my God, they have to prepare for every day.
It feels like a hamster wheel. Like, like seeing what we did and how little time it was actually out there displayed.
Right.
Like it was like,
and we spent months on that.
Wow.
and then
That's
it came
so
down.
cool.
You know, it was like kind of incredible to see like how quickly they're. Oh God, it's so efficient.
Before you even left, they're like, "Okay, who are you?" Like it's just like your brain has to like. You're moving on. You're like,
we're on
okay,
to the next.
They're like, oh, you're still here. Like, what's going on? You gotta. We're planning tomorrow. You know.
Yeah. Wild.
All right, let's just get in a little bit into the Red Sox winning.
Oh my gosh.
You know, this is a big deal because they had to kind of at the last minute film live at the final World Series game in St. Louis with a crew of like 7 to 8 people, like guerrilla style.
Yeah. Yes.
This is a part where they did actually use, you kind of mentioned, cameras that were like, I don't know, Fox cameras or whatever it was. And it was just one of those guys. It wasn't one of their camera guys. It was like, just, you know, look this way. And Nancy Duvonin, who is Drew's producing partner, said it was quite a monetary gamble to shut down the planned day of filming in Toronto and go to this game. It was like, if they didn't win, like we lost the day. And it's kind of wild. Yeah. And they're like, it would, they also said if they weren't there to film it, they would have had to try to recreate that scene. Impossible. So it was like so many things had to come together to make this work, and it worked.
Wow.
Yeah, so lucky.
And see, that's why we love it. That's why, like, you know it's special. Like, you can just feel like, whoa, this is a big deal, but it feels also so kind of simple. And like, that's like crazy.
It was, they couldn't bring hair, makeup, wardrobe. Like Drew was doing Jimmy's makeup on this little plane, and they just threw Jimmy and Drew down there, like someone got them in and they grabbed the Fox Sports camera dude. It was just like, go.
I also loved, I'll just like say one more thing about like Drew kind of being in the middle of this world. Like she was worried they were going to jinx the game by flying there. Like they started to be like, don't listen to the news.
Don't talk about it. Like
very like God, what do you call it?
Superstitious, right? Yes. Oh my God, that pressure alone of and also just like Drew Barrymore and Jimmy Fallon are here. Like, what a distraction from like what people are, you know, like. Ooh,
well, and so Fox like wasn't supposed to show them, but they did, and they're like Jimmy and Drew are kissing on the field. So all these people are like, "What the hell is this?" Like they're together, and Drew's boyfriend at the time, Fabrizio Moretti, saw it, and he was like, what?" And Drew had to like call him and explain. And we have a quote here. She said, "We looked like two nut jobs out on the field kissing, and no one understood what was going on. And I just had to breathe and think this will all come clear momentarily."
Wow. Honestly, can I just say, because I'm an acting coach as well, like that is top tier acting. That like just imagine you're running barefoot, like it's so easy to like crack a smile, or like Jimmy watching her do it like with such limited time to like do all that.
Yeah.
A+ acting. I mean, you got to just focus, right? And just go for it. Amazing. And I didn't know that like the Farrelly brothers were like rewriting it as they were going because of the win at this game, right? Like,
I think it was supposed to end with just like, see, this team's always gonna let you down, but you still love them. And instead it was like, no, they won.
Like she is the good luck charm, actually. You know? Yeah,
that's so cool.
Do you want me to play this little clip from Drew's show where they're talking about it?
Sure.
My boyfriend at the time, Fabrizio Moretti, hi Fabi. He is watching the series finale of the Red Sox, and there we are on the field kissing.
No one knew anything because they were like, "What movie?" No one knows that we're in a movie. We were just and we asked Fox. We said, "Don't air if they end up don't air any of this footage because we're just going to use it in the film."
Yeah.
And they go, "Yeah, sure," but then they're nervous, so they just cut to us
kissing in the base, the mound.
No,
we were on
crazy.
the mound. I still have the sand from the mound.
My baseball hat that I had made filthy because any real baseball fan has a dirty hat that they've had since high school. It's disgusting and it has salt stains. That hat is in the Baseball Hall of Fame.
That's where it is. I'm like, I knew he said it was somewhere.
That's so funny, actually.
That's cool.
Because we did talk about that earlier.
Yeah.
And what's crazy is like, they're spoiling kind of, I mean, you know, no one really knows, like that could be the beginning. You don't know if it's like a major
that's
spoiler,
true.
but like, yeah, showing the crowd that kiss and like airing it or whatever. It's like, ugh, that's like the ending
The
of the
ending
movie.
of the movie. Yeah, that's really funny. I didn't even think about it that way.
Wow.
I also love they talked about how the camera guy like got into the moment and like did a 360, like an amazing cinematographer around them during the kiss, like captured it.
He's like, this is my moment.
He's like, Drew, keep me in mind for the next one, right?
Like handing his card.
The Farrellys were like, the directors were very like, this is so scary. Like, take, like, really, like, we're relinquishing control. Like, so wild.
Yeah,
fun.
You have to, right? Like with when you're literally jumping in like that, it's just kind of like, okay, we'll just try it, and hopefully it's not a waste. But if it is, it's at least one day and not like a week. You know?
True.
Like,
oh my gosh,
wow.
So wild.
This is making me appreciate this movie and this ending even more. Right?
That's so cool.
Because it's a great movie. I've never met anyone, and I wouldn't trust them if they're like, I don't like Fever Pitch, right? But still, it's not really one that you hear talked about a lot. In the pantheon of rom-coms.
That's true.
Which is funny because it's so solid, and like all the supporting actors and everyone is so good, right?
Yep.
We love it.
Yeah, we do love it, and I'm so happy we covered it. Like this is, yes.
Yeah, it's so fun to revisit it. Okay, should we just quickly get into like the release of the movie?
Yeah, let's jump into it.
So Drew did a ton of press. She had her first ever Vogue cover, which is really cool. They were like pushing for that. And Drew and Jimmy went together on like MTV Spring Break, TRL. They were on Dr. Phil together, which we're going to mention in a minute for other reasons. They did cameos on SNL, Drew and on Letterman, Leno, Conan. Like we don't get press like this anymore.
Right. Or at least we're
happen.
not so aware of it. You see a clip, but you're not like tuned in as much.
No, it was
right?
so fun when she would just like go promote things everywhere. Just a different time.
Totally. And the premiere actually took place at Fenway Park. I had forgotten that. It was on April 6th of 2005.
Our friend Rachel was there.
Yes, our friend
I'm
Rachel
pretty
from
sure
Boston.
she went.
I think she was. And
so
Drew
cool.
has this beautiful red like gown on. Which is so like such a juxtaposition. I don't know, with the baseball field.
Yeah.
And then the movie released in U.S. theaters on April 8th of 2005. And Ashley, do you want to get into why you mentioned Dr. Phil?
Yes. So Anne and I actually went to the Dr. Phil taping. It was a month before the movie came out. And we drove separately, and Anne was late. And so when we got there, we didn't know this was going to happen. They actually took us in to watch the movie before the Dr. Phil show taped. Yeah. So I got to go in and watch the movie, and poor Anne came late and couldn't. It was such a bummer. And this was like pre-texting, so we had no way of communicating.
You're right. Back then, I mean, I think we could text like each button like 3 times.
I didn't even have that.
Right? Yeah.
So I was just in the theater like stressed out, like, where is she? What do I do?
You're like laughing and loving the movie, but every now and then you're like looking around.
Yes,
like
exactly.
Oh.
I mean, yeah, it was quite a little adventure. Like, I called into work that morning. Like, I was like, yeah, I'm going. I'm calling off work. So I left late, got there late, and it was just standing outside of this white building with like almost no signs on it, wondering if I was in the right place for hours. Because I was like, I'm at the right address. Like, where is anybody? Like, and then it was probably an hour and a half later. I don't even know what happened. Somebody opened a door.
I don't remember either.
Oh God, you must have been so freaked out.
Like probably we all came out or something. And I was probably like, oh my God, thank God you're okay.
And then to find out that they were watching the movie for
I
free,
know.
you must have been so pissed, Anne.
It was a bummer. It was a bummer.
I mean, I don't think I was mad. I think I was more like relieved. Like Ashley was okay.
Oh my God. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, so we had our own crazy adventure watching this.
That's a rom-com in itself.
I know.
I feel like there's like a story there where like being locked out at a studio and you're like, that's so funny.
And I'm sure we saw it together later because I have a picture of us standing by the poster. So eventually we got there.
Yes, we did.
So we're going to say bye to Mark. We are so excited that you joined us. This was really fun because it was like sort of last minute. And it was like, wait, this would be a great idea. Like, I love that we did this.
I'm crashing the ball game and now I got to go because what did she say? Ben, I'm being arrested.
There you go.
So let's just pretend I'm being arrested. Bye.
Bye, Mark. Thank you so much for joining us.
Arrested for being too much fun.
Next time I'll stay longer for real.
Okay, that sounds great.
Okay.
We hope to see you again soon. Bye. I love all the little puns. So fun.
So fun. Okay, so we can just wrap this up, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's kind of fun. I like that the British title for this movie is The Perfect Catch. I don't know, it's pretty cute.
Yeah, it is cute.
Like, Fever Pitch is kind of a, what is that?
Actually, when Jimmy and Drew were on the UK version of TRL, apparently that was a thing. They said they actually sort of preferred that title, but Drew was like, but we really wanted to stay true to the Nick Hornby novel title.
Yes, yes. And the movie was released in the UK on August 12th of 2005. I always find it interesting, like, what the distance is between like, international
it's always, like, months.
Unless, I mean, sometimes it's like shorter time if it's like
That's
a really, really big movie.
But you know what? I think Going the Distance was like the same exact time, because remember she did a lot of promo in the UK for that, and I think it was the same month it came out here. So
that's so interesting.
Who knows how these things work? Someone tell us.
Yeah, no idea. And then I like these basic little stats, because the only thing I know about filmmaking is that if it makes more than it costs to make, then it's a success.
Yeah.
So this film grossed over $50,000 worldwide, and its budget was $30,000. So there's a mark of success.
Good job, Flower Films.
Yes, yay.
Real briefly, I've got some just cute little one-liners reviews on Drew's performance. There were a lot of really nice ones out there, so we always like to hear those and share them.
Yes.
A reviewer named Mike Clark said, "Poised even when upchucking or getting beamed by a line drive foul ball, Drew Barrymore carries the picture."
Yes. I love that.
Yeah.
Us Weekly said Barrymore is perfect as a driven brainiac.
That was kind of fun. She doesn't get called that very much.
Yeah.
Rich Klein said Barrymore is as effortlessly charming as always. Indeed, she barely breaks a sweat with this performance, and yet she still wins us over completely. Which, like, I think what he's getting at with this barely breaks a sweat is that she's very natural, and like she's not doing any of her hammy stuff in this movie, really.
And maybe that's what the Fairleys were talking about when they said she's like a real woman in this.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting.
She seems just generally more reserved than Drew ever is. So
For sure.
it really is. Barely breaks a sweat is a good. That's a good line.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah. View London said, "Sweet, charming, and never less than watchable, thanks to Drew Barrymore's winning performance." Aw.
Oh. And then finally, the AV Club said, Barrymore has rarely been so bright and effortlessly charming. Which I don't know if I agree about the rarely been, but...
But also another, like, effortless.
Yeah.
So cool.
So cool.
Yay. So yes, Fever Pitch. We loved it then. We love it now. There was a little kind of reunion on The Tonight Show in 2014 where Drew and the Fairley brothers came on Jimmy's show. And it was just a cute little, like, they kind of recounted a little bit of the, you know, I don't know, wildness of what they did, I think.
Yeah, it was mostly about their, like, guerrilla filmmaking. So we'll link to that on the episode page. You guys can check that out.
Yeah, so I hope that you have a way to watch Fever Pitch again to kind of remind yourself how sweet it is.
Yeah, it is very sweet. It's got a lot of good laughs, and it's like got real touching moments. And I say it was a home run. Like, I know baseball.
Oh, goodness. All right.
Thanks, you guys, so much. Thanks again to Mark from Release Date Rewind. You guys go check out his podcast, and you can also follow him on Instagram. I believe it's at Release Date Rewind. And he's awesome and fun, as you just heard, and so cool that he joined us.
Yes.
And then if you guys enjoyed this, rate, review, subscribe. I know I sound like a broken record, but we could really use a new review on Apple Podcasts. It's been a while since anyone's gotten on their keyboard and typed something up about how much they love us. And then you also could follow us on Instagram at How Do You Drew Pod. And then our other account is at Drewseum.
Alrighty. And, you know, you're on the internet all the time anyway. So how about you visit our website at howdoyoudrew.com, hosted on our OG, thedrewseum.com. Sign up for our Patreon.
Patreon.com/howdoyoudrew.
And don't forget to send listener mail, which we read on the show sometimes.
Yeah.
To howdoyoudrewpod@gmail.com. And, you know, you can reach out if you're a Patreon member. You can reach out if you're on Instagram.
You can leave comments on Spotify now. There's all kinds of ways to say hi.
Say hi.
Hey. Come up to the pitcher's mound and throw one at us. I'm trying so hard. I just can't.
I feel like I should be better at this considering how much time I like listen to baseball talk with my boyfriend. Like, yeah. Baseball talk. All right, everyone. I hope you're enjoying baseball. And I guess we'll see you all next Drew's Day.
Sounds good. Thanks, you guys. Bye-bye.
This episode of the How Do You Drew podcast was researched and produced by Ashley and Ann from thedrewseum.com with help from our sponsor, Positive Medium.
Special thanks to Matt Costa for our lovely theme song, Roxy Prima for our adorable logo, and last but not least, Drew Barrymore and all the Drewbies who love her. We do this for you.
Thank you.